Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of the Clubkillers Podcast. I'm your host, DJ DeVille, and we've got some awesome guests in the building. And of course, we've got our resident podcast host, CLA. Welcome back.
What's poppin'?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Glad to have you back here at the table.
Thank you for
And we've got
having me.
two special guests as well, Jenna Palmer.
What's up? I don't know what camera to look at. This one.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that's your camera.
Hi, everyone.
And we got Tina T in the building. Welcome.
Thank you.
So-
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
And I'm excited to talk about some very important things. And I think the larger conversation is the future of DJing. That's one of the biggest things I want to talk with all of you. And I kind of want to zoom in a little bit and talk about what you have. You've essentially been an ambassador for the future. And you did that with something called Camp Spinoff. And I really want you to kind of explain what that means, because it's so important. Because I want to talk about all the difficulties and the challenges that kids are going through, because there's so many obstacles that go along the way. But your camp solves a lot of those problems. And I just want to tell the audience a little bit about it, because that's what's going to unpack the larger conversation. So tell everybody about Camp Spinoff. I think it's so cool.
That was a big intro. Thank you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it's exciting because it's just a. I know we're doing a little bit of back and forth here, but like I got to go to your mastermind because you're bringing it to Las Vegas, and I guess I get really it's such an important thing because I was in Boy Scouts, and like a camp is such an important thing for like social components and all those type of aspects. And when you add DJing to it, it's so cool because it just brings my whole world together. So I very much admire what you've invented. So you just give it the breakdown.
Yeah. So obviously you get it, right? Because you went to summer camp, and I went to summer camps growing up, and it was like my first time away from home, gaining independence, meeting new friends, and it was just super exciting. So I basically wanted to take my two favorite things, DJing. I started DJing when I was 15, and summer camp, and put them together. And it ultimately started with a conversation with DJ Revolution when he was telling me about payola and the radio stations and record labels, because the labels would basically send all the radio DJs to Jamaica, get them mopeds, spoil them. And he's describing it to me, and I'm imagining, right?
I want to
I'm
go.
like, that sounds so fun. And then my summer camp mind from being a kid went straight to, that'd be so cool if it was like a DJ camp where we were all like in cabins doing field games and dodgeball and be like just a bunch of DJs hanging out. And then my next thought was, well, that's not going to work because it's just going to be a bunch of drinking and partying and debauchery.
What's the problem with that?
I was going to stay quiet, but
And then I was like, well, what if it was like a camp for teens, you know? And then we're all like the counselors, and then we can pass on the things that we, have learned, and like it can become this nonprofit, and that's where it all started.
So where was the first camp at?
So it started in Ojai, California. Basically, we rented out an existing summer camp facility, and it was 4 days, and we set up 3 different classrooms where there's turntables. So the first camp, we were doing turntables and vinyl. It was in 2010. So
That was my next question. What was the time frame on this?
So Serato was around. We also had some Serato, but we felt very strongly that they should be able to use turntables and vinyl and experience that. It's a little bit different now. And that's where we'll bring in the mastermind, which is the event that happened in Vegas. But I'll get back to that. So anyways, Camp Spinoff is a sleepaway summer camp traditional experience for teens 12 to 17 who want to learn how to DJ and produce music. And they also learn like the music business, all the, we have different speakers that come in. We have celebrity guest DJs that come. We've had Mixmaster Mike, Lil Jon, Spinderella, 8-Track, Z-Trip. Like we've had tremendous support from the DJ community, and it blows these kids' minds. They fly in from all over. We've had kids from Thailand, Africa. There really is no other camp like this that specializes and is like a sleepaway, like eat, live, breathe music.
Is it like a 1 week thing?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So yeah, you can. It's like it seems like a long time, but it's really not. Because I always remember I always did 1 week camps, and it seems like, oh man, it's gonna be a long time, and next thing you know, it's done.
Yeah.
And especially when it's so exciting when you're dealing with so much music and skill sets and learning and socialization, it's crazy. So, how do you break up the curriculum? Like, so over that week, what's the steps? Is there like different, like I guess kind of like lily pads along the way that you're doing, or are you kind of mixing together based on skill levels? How's that work?
So we break, there's 50 campers, and it's maxed at 50 because we're going for quality. You know, we don't want classroom sizes to be too big.
Sure.
We break the 50 kids into 3 different groups, and they rotate through the different classes. So the first class is like a kind of DJing 101 where you learn the basic fundamentals, and we have DJ Hoppa who teaches that. Then we have Presto One teaching another DJing class where it's more like mixing, getting creative, and putting together a set. And then we have the music production class that's taught by DJ Seraphin.
Okay.
And then we also have music business where different people will come in, different kind of industry people will come in as guests to speak and do music business.
Oh, that's honestly amazing because that is pretty much the most important pillars of all this stuff. So if you were going to go to a camp like this, what would you be most excited about? When you were like, how old were you when you started?
Oh, I was a late bloomer.
Really?
Yeah.
How old were
I
you?
started early 20s.
Oh, early 20s.
Yeah.
Okay.
I fell into DJing. It wasn't like I want to be a DJ. I just fell into
but
it.
like, what
yeah.
do you think that a camp like this would have taught you so early on, like for like getting those skill sets? What do you think that would cause you to gravitate towards?
I think it's everything. Just learning, being able to play on equipment that I wouldn't have the capital to get.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I had to finance my first equipment because I didn't have the money, but I really wanted to learn.
Yeah, but you're able to dive in on the pro gear. That's
Yes,
such an eye-opener.
absolutely. And then to learn from, you know, people who've been around, from legends, and then just having a community again, like a camp, right? Like to have kids the same age as you liking the same things and being excited to learn. So I think that would be pretty cool. I was thinking about that. I was talking to Kellen about this, like, I didn't have this when I was younger. You know,
Yeah.
it's
That'd be
really
cool.
cool to have these resources.
But you had it as an adult.
But I did.
Carla, so CLA was a
Hey,
camp
yo.
counselor.
Oh, that's
I
awesome.
was. So I got to experience on that end. So just to be around the
Well,
the younger generation.
So, Jenna, so you have kids that are, I don't know if you're going to incorporate them into the summer camps or anything like that. But when you were a kid, like how old were you when you started?
I was 8. I was kind of a late bloomer too.
Okay.
I was 18.
Okay. So what stands out to you? Like, what do you like most about the camp? And like, what's your favorite part of the curriculum?
All of it.
It
I know
is really-
it
it's
sounds
also
so bad.
important.
But it's true. It's all of
Yeah.
it. It's learning. I wish, yes, I had someone. I'm so grateful that I had someone to actually hold my hand and really teach me. But there are so many people that don't have that, and I wish that I also had someone to, you know, teach me how to, like, I learned how to like do basic stuff, but at the camp they're gonna learn how to like do scratching, like they're gonna do scratching,
Music production. I didn't
It's such a
even know,
well-rounded
like-
curriculum.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like that's amazing. I wish I had that, but
Okay.
I'm grateful for what I had.
Oh,
but
that's
I wish
awesome.
I had that.
we also want to even teach them stuff like learning their mic voice, because being on the mic is something
Yeah.
that's more
Yes.
important than
That's a
ever,
skill.
right? So
Yes.
they're
That's a
gonna
skill.
probably be a little nervous, but throughout the days at camp and what they learn in their classes, they're putting together a set they're going to perform on
That's
the
so
last
cool.
day that we're actually
Sick.
going to record and stream later. That will essentially be their first, like, this is me DJing to the world. And they're going to incorporate everything they learned in their classes. They're going to get on the mic, they're going to scratch, and put it all together into a set.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is I'm trying to articulate this question because there's probably something that is a popular thing that all the kids want to do as a DJ that they know about, right? Like as far as like the cool factor of being a DJ. But do you notice that the interests evolve as they go through camp? And once they gain more knowledge, they realize they value more than just being cool on a stage. Do you notice that there's like kind of an evolution of that interest as they go along with their education?
I think that overall people realize it's so much harder, than they thought. And then kids that do come in with experience, I think that they learn the gaps in their foundation.
Like, what do you think is the largest common gap? Like, what's the most common thing that is missing? Because obviously there's something you always want to attack when your personal self-interest. Like I wanted to dive into scratching first. That was always my first priority when I learned. Because I jumped in, I had my dad gave me the basement in the corner. I used his old stereo. I got a turntable. I learned how to scratch, and he'd listen to me. And he was trying to watch TV, and he'd just be listening to me scratch all day. But that's what I didn't learn how to actually mix for over a year. I was so focused on the scratch art, watching Qbert and Babu and all those guys.
So you were interested in turntablism.
Very much turntablism because this is
Right.
98, 99. So that was for me, like, what's the most popular thing that kids are interested out of the curriculum first? What's the thing that everybody kind of goes towards right away versus how it evolves through the education?
I mean, I don't teach any of the classes, so I'm not a good one to ask that specific. But overall, I would say from the beginning of camp, the trend that we've noticed is there was a lot more DJ heavy back in 2010, and progressively it's become much more about production.
Producer heavy,
yes.
Okay.
So much, like doubled, tripled kids that want to come to learn production.
Because I think that's more like you're seeing the equivalency of, okay, producers get to play at the big festivals like Ultra and, wherever.
Yeah.
And, that's a fair observation because you're seeing such an amazing translation from I have a hit song, I get to play on big stage.
Right.
Absolutely.
It's easy math.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So,
exactly.
But at the same time, there's also this subculture within festivals where turntablism is getting cool again, like Knock 2 is incorporating that into his sets more. So I feel like it's swinging back the other way. Like people are appreciating skill sets on stage. And so obviously CDJs and controllers are the norm, but I noticed like you guys still teach turntablism, which I think is really cool. And during the mastermind, we brought this up.
Yeah.
And it unfortunately came up, and this is coming from veteran DJs. Like we did, to give a little background on the mastermind was a curriculum, I guess like a pressure cooker.
Yeah.
It was literally us coming up with new concepts because you're bringing the camp to Las Vegas for the first time since COVID this coming summer. And you wrangled up a lot of awesome DJs from all around the city, and we talked about, actually, I have it right here. I have the paper right here. So some of the questions were, this is actually a really important concept. So we talked about, one of the biggest questions was rating these classes in importance for aspiring DJs and producers who will be attending the camp. And the curriculum concepts were music production, music business, mental health, DJing 101 on turntables, and then DJing 101 on controllers / CDJs, turntablism, and then physical fitness, including yoga, meditation, and sports. And there was 2 commonalities, the top and the bottom of the list. And I was in one of those. There was like tables of 8 of us at each table, and we went through microphone by microphone from each table, and we all tended to agree that physical and mental health is at the top of the list. If you don't have those 2 things, you don't have anything else.
Foundation for anything, I believe.
Yeah, and it's so important. I mean, we're talking about personal, social media, mental health, the power of perception versus reality. And just, your home life, all these things are very important when it comes to your ability to be creative, pick out music, be amazing on stage. All these things matter. And then, unfortunately, at the bottom of the list was turntablism. And this is coming from veterans.
Sorry to Bill.
Yeah.
No, I mean, it is what it is. And I think I was one of those people that put it at the bottom list.
Because it's like, what's the goal if you don't understand how to use equipment?
Right.
Like, how are you going to just jump into turntablism right away? You get so excited. So I think the 101 of
and it's
learning
very
how
niche.
to use a turntable, learning how to use a CDJ.
Yeah. Well, and also, to be fair, differentiating using turntables versus the actual art of turntablism and scratching.
Right.
And just doing routines. Because, you can see from a business plan perspective that it's not as beneficial as being a producer. Let's just, it is what it is. But, it's such an important part of history. It's such an important part of culture. And at least understanding it. As any young DJ, if you're 12 years old, you've never seen a scratch routine before. It's cool to watch, especially in person.
So cool.
And
Absolutely.
it opens up your mind of like, hey, I'm just taking this piece of vinyl and making noise with it, like a drum or
and your
a saxophone.
storytelling, Yeah,
it's like jazz music.
Yep.
It really is.
Well, there was this one time at DJ camp.
Oh, gosh.
Where Mixmaster Mike was doing a DJ set at the pool, and all the kids were surrounding the DJ booth, and he was just like scratching like crazy. Like they had never seen anything like that in their lives. Most veteran like DJs, most of the staff hadn't seen with that amount of people, and he would stop, turn down the music and then like go like that in their faces, and they were like, oh my God. And he was like cat and mousing just these campers, and it was the most incredible thing.
Wow.
And
Well, I mean, it's like watching Michael Jordan dunk a basketball.
Yeah.
That's about as cool as it gets. Because I just got to meet Mixmaster Mike for the first time at NAMM this last January. And I grew up on this guy, like his production style and just the innovation with the Beastie Boys and the production. So that was kind of like, as I was growing into being a DJ, I was learning production. I was learning turntablism. And then on the mixing side, I was learning from like Tiesto and things like that, like more the techno side of the world. That's what taught me to like, I was learning remotely, and all I had was VHS tapes and AOL video.
Wow.
So the fact, like, I wish I had this when I was a kid, because like I had like Boy Scouts, so I had that social aspect, and that's another thing I wanted to ask you about is, and I this kind of came up pretty heavy in the mastermind, is the challenges of these younger kids with sociability. Like, what are you seeing that trend continue because of cell phones and social media? Like, what are you seeing when it comes to the social aspect and skill sets of kids?
Well, so we haven't had camp since COVID. This will be our first year back.
But I mean, as far as even like cell phones and just the...
Oh, yeah. I think that since COVID, more than ever, kids need to meet and experience things with other people face to face.
Yes.
I think we all need it too, right?
Like adults too.
Yeah.
They're lacking.
Yeah.
But we have more opportunity for it. We've got networking events.
Yeah.
We've got things we
Yeah.
can do. And like those things aren't really there for them, the same way they are for us. So I think that in the mastermind, we talked about how when we were coming up as DJs, we were out networking every night of the week. We weren't networking on social media. We were networking. We were putting in FaceTime.
Yes.
And these kids are lacking that skill set like altogether. They know how to slide into DMs and say like, "Hey fam, book me." But
Yeah.
they don't know how to like meet you in
adults.
person, shake your hand,
Yeah.
and
Personality.
Carry a conversation.
Yes.
carry a conversation and
Yes.
also see like what they can do for you, not just what you can do for them. There's like a whole finessing of networking and
Yes.
building relationships that's really lacking. And you know what's great is we just had a few campers out for a Twitch stream fundraising event we did. And they all still keep in touch with each other, right?
that.
Like
That's awesome.
campers from, 2012, 13, 14, they're all still doing projects together, networking, and that's what I want to see for every group of campers.
And what are you kind of seeing? Because obviously this is the first time since COVID. Do you have any predictions as far as like student behavior, things that you're kind of anticipating? Because like you can speculate, but I think it is going to be a little strange at first, because if this is the first time they've got to interact in such a creative and social way at the same time, because obviously school's back in session, that's all back to normal. And maybe this next generation won't be as impacted as the kids that were high schoolers and middle schoolers during COVID. But I'm just kind of curious to see how obviously there's a social factor, but also the perception of what DJing means because of social media, YouTube, seeing it in person. Like kids can go to festivals. I mean, it's a lot of these festivals are, they start at 16? You're able to get into some of these all ages events.
Yeah.
So are you getting inquiries? Are you interacting with some of the potential enrollees or parents of those enrollees? Like what kind of questions are you getting from these parents and students?
I did get one question about getting help putting together a set for Burning Man.
Yeah. That's pretty high level.
They're already
Wow.
thinking way
Man.
ahead before
Whoa.
learning how to use.
Well, that to me, that it's like you come in because they are kids, teens, they're like 0 to 100. And so we kind of like bring them back down and be like, well, let's start here to get you there. I think the perception and standard of everything they're seeing on social media is so out of touch. It's just so far from the reality.
Yeah.
That's going to be probably the challenge, is like getting everyone to come like back to reality and to not care about that too. Like it's
Right.
not about that.
Absolutely.
It's not about the validation. It's not about the likes.
Absolutely.
And the other thing is social media is so edited. People are only showing their best things.
The best
no
parts of the
parts.
night.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so like we need to make sure they understand that at camp, like you're here to make mistakes. It's okay.
Yes,
And no one's going to judge you. And this is the place you want to make those mistakes, like around people that we can all just laugh together and be bad together, because I don't think anybody talks about how bad you have to
I
be
think that's important
before
too.
you can get good.
Make mistakes and not get hard on yourself. I was talking about that with a friend who's a high school coach. And she was saying, we have these like camps to also show these kids like, oh, you missed the shot. It's okay. It's fine. Instead of getting hard on yourself, because all they know is the sport. And, and you have to be like this and like that. And like, she's like, us coaches, we play with the kids and like, hey, we missed the free throw, or it's fine. We're going to come back. And I think with DJing, it translates as well. Like, hey, I missed this mix, or oh my God, I was off by a beat, and it's like, oh, I'm so bad. But it's like, no, it's fine. You do that. I did that a lot.
Well, teachable moments don't happen when you're perfect.
Absolutely. Yeah. Like, oh my God, why did I do that? Like, you know.
Yeah, but we got to teach them the poker face though too. Like if you're at a gig and you
like,
mess up, exactly.
Troubleshooting, and you know, it is what it is. It just happened. Next,
and you don't stop the show because there's a mistake.
No,
absolutely.
Keep it going.
Like,
and those are all like the veteran tricks of the trade that we're passing along. I mean, if I see a kid in a classroom set up a tripod to like, I'm taking it down, you know, like we are going to capture content, but I want everyone to feel comfortable, like learning without feeling like, you know,
pressure.
They have to get it for the gram or like all of that.
Yeah,
no.
not yet. You know, just, there's
Exactly.
always a time and a place for it, but it's okay to, just take some time for yourself. It's cameras are everywhere now, literally everywhere. And it's so weird to actually put it down. I mean, even like sometimes I feel weird, like, oh yeah, I got to put my phone on no ring, and I got to be a human being for a little while.
You have to.
Yeah, and honestly,
detach.
Yeah, absolutely. And you need that mental space when you're thinking about programming, and think about how deep music catalogs go, and actually allowing yourself that time to learn catalogs of music.
Yeah.
And I'll admit, I'm guilty of that sometimes too. There's massive gaps in my knowledge base that I know I should know. But, you get so time consumed with production, and you have to make a choice eventually, too, like what your specialty is going to be as a DJ in the DJ world. Because you can be a producer / DJ, or you can just be a EDM-focused house DJ that tours. Or there's a million different ways you can kind of facet this out. And as far as, like, do you see, like, genre preferences that kind of, because you mentioned something about Z-Trip. He did something cool to kind of overcome the power of perception of certain genres or preferences, like, oh, I just want to be this type of DJ. I want to be a dubstep DJ or a house DJ. Because you mentioned something with Z-Trip that it was really cool to overcome that.
Yeah, well, most of the kids do come in with like a preconceived notion of like they're a hip hop DJ, they're a dubstep DJ, and that's great. Like we support that, but we also are teaching skills that are not just for one specific genre. They're for everything.
Right.
We're teaching the foundation of DJing, not one genre. So Z-Trip was an instructor the last 2 years, and he basically said, great, you guys got your genres, but I'm going to throw all these genres into a hat, and you're going to select one, and you're going to build a set and perform that set on the last day of camp.
I love that. That's awesome.
So they were doing
comfort zone.
cool.
I love that.
Yeah.
Challenge.
Yeah, and it brought people out of that, specific mindset, and they had a lot of fun with it, and it was really great for everybody.
Because it is a shocker. Because you think about the way you DJ as a house DJ, it's just linear. It's clean, a lot of dynamic mixing, EQs versus open format is some slams, aggressive overlays, mashups.
Yeah.
And just having that, it becomes so valuable, especially when you give kids that talent early. It unpacks into what they still prefer to do. Like you literally just change the way they do what they already like to do. Yeah. And that's an awesome concept. And it becomes a mashup of skill sets in your own mind. You're rewiring brains early. And because the whole point of this, like they always say that the apprentice should always surpass the master at some point. Because what's the point of
absolutely
teaching someone if they don't get better than you?
Yes.
They're supposed to add their own elements of their
Exactly.
craft to your foundation of your skill sets as mastery. Because we only have a certain amount of time to master something. And we got to hand it off all at the same time. So this is such an awesome concept and such a positive concept. And I mean, I'm trying to think. Okay, let's go around the table. What's your least preferred genre? Like, what's your weakest genre?
Weakest or like what?
Weakest, like what to
for
this
me to
day? Like
DJ?
what? Yeah, like if you were gonna get thrown into that wheel of if you were going to get a wheel of music, what's the one you would dread?
Country.
Country? Okay.
Touche.
Still country?
It's country.
That leaves 3. I was going to say the same thing. I'm like, country.
It's country.
Really? Oh, wow.
But shout out to DJ Silver because
Absolutely.
his edits, like,
They're great.
Oh, they
make
say
it easier.
they saved
They make it
me.
easier.
because
Yeah.
I'll go in and out of hip hop and mix it up, and actually,
Yeah.
like, because I've started to like it more, it's just not what I'm best at.
Right.
Right.
Yeah,
Because there's
same.
still like a linear flow, especially if you get edits, you can still mix it the same way. But I think for me, it's like I get thrown in the binder with like 50s, 60s Motown, that type of thing, because it's so hard. Because I like to linear mix. I don't like to slam.
Right.
And you kind of have to be clever with just like rubbing in a track on a snare to get it into the next track. I think one of the people that was so good at like Eddie Mack, because he's really good with vinyl. He plays vinyl sets at, like on the record and things like that. And I watched him play for like just like 15, 20 minutes. And he was playing some really old vintage tracks. And just, he's not blending. He's not just sitting there nursing a track along. He's just waiting for that right snare that just complements the other song. Boom, you're into the next track. And he's playing Motown. He's playing classics, like good stuff.
That's fire.
And I've never really learned that skill set because I never. So when you started DJing, were you on turntables or did you have like a digital influence as well?
I was on turntables and vinyl, and it was at the time of like the Lethal Weapons and like the compilations. So that got me into the kind of. I was used to always having intros on vinyl, but like I didn't do a lot of slamming.
Nice
I like to mix with intros, outros. And people would be like, "Oh, they're like cheating."
That's just clean.
You're still mix. I just like to mix.
Yeah. Well, what about you? How did you start? Like
turntables.
So, but like with Serato or vinyl?
No, vinyl.
Okay. What about you?
Turntables and the like CDs.
CDs.
Yeah.
I was
like you burn.
Yeah.
Like the CD, like
I had CD books.
Yeah,
I made my own
CD
compilations,
books, and then you like download all the tracks, and then you like write it
Shout
so you know what's on there, and then you just rip tracks and you just download it.
I got lucky because like my first club I ever worked at had a wall of CDs from the club owner was a wedding DJ, and he put all the CDs on the wall with an indexer. So I had a whole.
He made it easy for you.
It was like antiquated Serato in a way because every CD was serialized, and I could just find it. And then I brought my own CD book in to complement that, so I had my own sound. And that kind of changed the way, because I still wanted, because I had Funky Mix, Select Mix, and all those, so I still learned in a linear flow. And I just never got into like rubbing in tracks, like almost like New York style dropping in stuff. I was just never a part of my repertoire. So when you have music genres that don't let you mix, that's definitely a huge
a challenge. Yeah.
Even to this day, I have to think like, how am I going to approach this? Because I want to scratch stuff in and attack it, but you still have to make it sound clean. Because I don't like to just ratchet scratch a snare drum for 30 seconds. Oh man, it's I mean, so let's talk about the build up going into Las Vegas here. Like what are you doing to prepare for this massive rebirth of this? Like how is it going to be different than California?
Well, we have a brand new location. It's called Camp Alamo. It's about an hour and a half outside of Vegas.
Okay.
So the kids, everyone will take a shuttle there on a bus, and I'm excited about having a new place. It's going to be hot. It's a little bit different, so we're rearranging the schedule to work around the heat.
Nice.
We have a planning committee, which Jenna Palmer is on.
Yes.
And we meet every 2 weeks, but we're constantly in a group chat, and it's all volunteer run, and we're just like doing it, planning, and everyone has a different skill set they bring to the committee. We're reaching out to boys and girls clubs, YMCA, community centers, libraries, anywhere in Vegas, and really any city that has a music program where teens are. There's randomly sometimes, a school that will have like a beat making class. Mm-hmm. And so we're finding all of those in Vegas, which is really the hardest part, is just finding them all. Yeah. And then we're building these pipelines with their directors so that we can just pull kids every year for scholarships.
So you're still going to keep 50?
Yes.
So it's going to be a maximum of 50 kids per year. And so are you going to have multiple waves of kids, or is this just a one-time
Right now,
annual?
It's just a one-time.
Okay.
We haven't gotten to a point where we're like turning people away. So if we get to that point, then we could add on weeks, but we're not there
I have
yet.
a feeling you're
praying
going to end up having that problem.
there.
It'll be nice to have two waves, like do like a June and an August or something like that, or once a month throughout the summer. I think that's really cool. Actually, I want to come back to this too, because it's really about passing the torch and, talk about the mastermind. There were so many, think about how many years of talent were in that room.
That mastermind, in our planning committee, Jen had come up with the idea, and I was like, I don't know. She's like, let's do a round table. I'm like, what is even a round table, right? Like, she comes from like nonprofit world, and I'm like, I don't know. DJs don't know. So then I'm like, let's call it a mastermind.
Yeah.
But then I didn't know what response. I reached out to just every DJ that I knew there's a lot of DJs that didn't come because I just didn't know them personally, right? It was nothing.
Yeah.
But I reached out to everyone I knew, and the response was so great. It got me super pumped. Honestly, it was the motivation I really needed to like push forward hardcore, because everyone was like, amazing, like I'll be there, and we had a great turnout. And so
there was like 50 DJs there.
It was
at
great.
least.
Way more than I thought. I was like, whoa,
Yeah.
whoa. And then all of us who don't see each other because we all have different schedules, like,
It was
hey,
really cool.
hey,
It was perfect timing.
So that was awesome.
yeah, I didn't
job,
know,
guys.
I didn't think I would get that kind of response. So that was really cool.
Well, because you had your little notepad on your phone, because I wanted to kind of talk about some of these responses that we came up with some huge revelations. And some of the stuff was like, I feel like blowing off steam as far as concerns that DJs have right now.
Got a little
because
tense.
We've all been through it. But I think we all realize that, man, we're all sharing these burdens. And so as we're sharing these burdens, we need to convey these concerns in a digestible way to this younger generation. And that's what I think is going to help develop the curriculum in a kind of a passive way.
Yeah, so that's, I guess I didn't mention, that was the goal of the mastermind, was to get all the DJs in a room and then talk about the state of the industry and pick their brains as far as what the priorities are, so that we can like put together a curriculum for these teens that makes sense, because it's so much different than it was in 2010.
Oh, yeah.
And we also wanted a way to get all the Vegas DJs on board with supporting Camp Spinoff. Like, now this is in your hometown.
Yeah.
And in LA, we
love
had
it.
We had all the DJs, right?
I don't have to go all the way to Cali. I love Cali, but it's right here.
And so those were the goals of that. And we plan on doing it every year and bringing more and more DJs into it. But I do have a list of the
because like
worries.
I think one of the, like, for example, we talked about, question number 2 was, what worries do you have about the future of DJing in Las Vegas? And it's not just Las Vegas, but I think Las Vegas is kind of like a beacon for the rest of the country as far as the health and the flow of how nightlife works. Mm-hmm. So let's talk about like some of the responses. Like, it's not just that question, but you have some really great eye openers about as far as responses go.
Yeah. So for the what worries do you have about the future of DJing in Las Vegas? There is oversaturation, following social media and working towards false expectations. The art of the opening set was a big one. Wrong guidance, management needs to be better guidance on that. Income management and learning more on finance. Lack of network, not social media network. Health and physical. Technology gets more gapped, DJ platforms and software. AI. Where the club scene is going, where the club scene will be in 5 years. People are drinking less. Great. It's healthy, but bad Las Vegas business model.
Yeah.
When revenue dips, it's a ripple effect to the DJ. Audience are leaning more experience, events, lounges, and festivals. Bottle culture ending. And paying to DJ at clubs.
Okay, so there's 2 that I want to talk about there. And I guess it's so interesting that there's a lot going on there, because we're seeing like obviously oversaturation is a constant complaint. I think that's a really easy thing to overcome if you're savvy. So any sort of business, any sort of conversational aspects, like getting outside, that's a really easy cop-out to say the market is saturated, because everything's saturated.
Everything. Any business, everything is saturated. So what are you going to do?
I mean, it's everybody wants to be everything now. But, it's funny because everybody loves the idea of being a DJ. But there is a trend. This is one of the things that really came up heavy, was paying to DJ. There's a trend. It's happening in New York. It's happening in Vegas, LA, Miami.
Sorry.
It's crazy because
it was a shocker to me. I had no idea that was happening.
I figured it was happening.
Yep.
Yeah, because I've witnessed it firsthand, and it doesn't matter where it's happening. It's just the fact that it's happening, and it's really, really, the fact that a trust fund baby, or even just a rich person in general, can decide they want to be a DJ. Approach a venue and say, I'm going to pack out your VIP section with a bunch of my rich friends and all my friends that I'm paying bottles for. I'm going to give the club X amount of dollars, and then I'm going to DJ, and you're going to let me. And they're telling the club. And it looks like, and and the club is looking at their balance sheet like, well, we don't have any GA tonight.
Absolutely.
And this guy's going to give me 30 grand.
Yep.
Okay. And I'm going to sell more bottles too.
Yeah.
So what this does is it creates this super dangerous precedent of, okay, now the club is expecting the DJs to pay to play.
No.
And as a career DJ, it's so mind-boggling and dangerous. And that's one of the things that I almost like want to protect young kids from, that concept of like, okay, there's always going to be a place to work. And this is just when it comes to being a career DJ, it's a concern. But when you're a young DJ, it's actually not a concern whatsoever.
No, they don't care.
Because you're looking for opportunities.
Yeah,
and this is happening at the highest level of nightclubs because that's where the rich guys want to play.
Right. Absolutely.
Because they want the clout. That's the only reason they're doing it. You got some more notes.
So I'll leave club names out, but I did come across this on Instagram because a major Vegas club on the Strip was like promoting that they were like looking for local DJs. And I'm like, let me just message and see what this is all about, right?
Ooh.
They responded, hey, what's up? Our industry Sundays, we are opening up opportunities for local DJs to get some opening and closing slots. Club name, possibly another thing, later this year. And possibly another name, our sister restaurant that we sometimes do joint events, another name. There are a lot of people who are currently on this list, so please be patient with hearing back. To be transparent, management is most interested in prioritizing not so much DJs with experience, but DJs that bring the most people. And DJs that get to play again will generally be the DJs that brought the most people. If this is something you're interested in, let me know.
At least they're honest.
But that's...
So I was like, this is where we're at. Yeah.
But for that venue, whatever venue it is, like, don't they realize you have to build your own venue to keep people, like your people? Because once that DJ leaves, guess what leaves with them?
Their people.
Their people.
Well,
So what do you have as a foundation?
And here's the thing.
Well, you know what? It's excess. Why? I mean, they're promoting it themselves. It's not a secret.
Yeah.
And Encore Beach Club,
Yeah.
Excess, Encore Beach Club, their sister restaurant, Casa Playa, something. I mean,
And it's
they want
kind of
more
a casting
DJs.
call. It is a casting call to maybe discover some new talent, breakthrough. But as long as I've been a DJ, this concept has been pushed and perpetuated by every promoter, every dirtbag promoter, and even successful or dirtbag, whatever you want to call it. Like, hey, bro, how many people are you going to bring? And then, like, really shitty club owners that are expecting you to fill up their nightclub. It's like, last time I checked, I'm a DJ. I'm not a promoter. And, yes, every DJ has people that come out to see them. But the average DJ doesn't have a lineup of people going, I can't wait to go to your next gig.
Yeah. Or a lineup of rich friends who are like, all right, I'll buy a 20 grand table.
Carla, you got a lot of friends to come out.
Thanks.
Like,
They vibe.
it's cool when people show up.
Yeah,
That's the one
no,
thing
it really is.
Yeah.
Like, I've had better nights where I had no people text me and they just show up versus I got, hey bro, I'm coming out tonight, and they never show up. It's like I've learned to accept the fact that, especially in Las Vegas, people from out of town hit me up. Hey bro, where are you playing at? I'm gonna come see you. I guarantee you I will not see that person because they don't realize what kind of cage they got themselves into, the insanity of Las Vegas.
Right.
You're never gonna actually do the things you were planning on doing. That's just a common law in Las Vegas. But it's so frustrating that concept is still being perpetuated by such a large company. They just advertised the most annoying thing that drives us all crazy as, hey, if you got a following, you can have a gig.
Yeah.
But is that even going to work out for them? To me, it just says they're in a bad place with their marketing team if they're relying on something like this.
It speaks volumes. Hey, we're going to now rely on people that are popular to bring people into the club. And I think it may not be so much the marketing, it's just maybe it's the market. The market is tough right now. And I think Las Vegas in particular is going through a growth period. There's a million things under construction. Yeah. It's a really challenging time for business because of the negative press over the last year and a half, I would say. And numerous people that are in charge of all these things are expressing their concern. I've been watching on social media and things of that nature, and even also internal conversations. It's a red alert, but I think at the same time that it's going to heal itself. Las Vegas is still going to be the party capital, but a lot of things need to change. We got out of the largest, most expensive EDM bubble.
Yeah.
Think of how many billions of dollars were spent on EDM performances and venues, just on the Strip alone. And we're undoing that. We're we're still going to have certain ones like Omnia is always going to be around. Omnia is incredible. I mean, it's such a glorious place to hang out. I mean, it's such an incredible venue. But, there's some other places that, have had their highs and lows, and some are going to fall off. I mean, now we have like Dre's closed. That's so now they're like the hip hop culture is shifting to other venues, and there's experimentation with artists and things like that. It's all going to change. But as far as the future goes, like, what predictions do you have for what kind of market are kids that are 15 right now? What do you think they're going to go into? What are your predictions for the next 5 years when they're old enough to be in a club as a pro DJ? What kind of market are they going to be in? What are your predictions? It doesn't have to be gospel. I'm just curious what you think.
I feel like
Seafood City.
Oh, yes.
Hey, wait. Shout out to the Filipinos.
What's going on in Seafood City? I don't even know what's going on. I kept hearing about it at the Mastermind. What is Seafood City?
You got
like a rave.
It's like a pop-up.
Well, it's Seafood City is like a grocery store.
Oh yeah, I've been inside it.
And a lot,
So there's an activation happening.
So they like set up like a DJ with like, and then it's great. Like all the
why don't we just
Filipinos
go?
are already known to love dancing.
Yeah.
They love music. So when you have a spot where Filipinos already go,
It looks super Bay Area hyphy.
it does.
Really?
I believe
Oh,
it started in the Bay.
Like,
I believe.
That's awesome.
Kraken.
We should
I
go.
haven't
And then
been.
everybody
Wow,
comes
I should go.
and they just drop like all the hits, and Filipinos will sing and they'll dance and they'll cha-cha slide or they do whatever. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
it's a vibe because again, unlike people going in the club, what do? A lot of the younger generation like throws the parties in coffee shops.
Yeah,
or-
so
I might
it's
say the
in
smaller
that
venues, I
that
feel like.
trend wave.
yes. So
Okay.
it was like they
All
just it's a part of that. It's just now in a grocery store.
And
That
I
is
think the big
hilarious.
part of that whole concept is that it's early. I think, does it start at midnight or end at midnight?
I thought it started
I think it
late.
started earlier.
It's the approved this, right? It's like an approved event.
I mean,
It's
been more than
inside.
one.
It's not in the parking lot.
Yeah, it's
That's
inside the
You
grocery
have a
store.
that's approved.
While people are still shopping,
snacks.
it's not like they wait
Have
for him to
snacks
close.
That's
Like-
hilarious.
Yeah, it's
Right?
popping.
It
I'll show you
reminds me-
I wanna
videos
go. I
after
wanna
this.
go.
I was like, we should
Yeah.
just go.
It's
Yeah.
like New
So just
York
try.
having like raves in the subway, like in the middle. Like it's like let's bring back these like cool, different, unique venues that
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm about to say. I feel like
'cause-
the smaller type
Well,
of
it's getting
events.
elemental again.
Yeah.
Because if you think about the birth of raves, it was just in warehouses and big empty
absolutely.
buildings. And we're in its own way, it went back to that. We're just doing it in public places that are ironic.
Yeah, you're right.
It's like, hey, like we can have a
You're
rave at a
right.
barber shop if we want. Like
Yeah.
you can do anything you
Why
want.
not?
I mean, I got a fillet of salmon in my hand and I'm fist pumping
Let's
with the other.
go. Yeah.
Like, it's,
Now you're hyped to go home and
yeah,
cook. Like,
because at the
vibes.
end of the day, everyone loves music.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be the desire to search out the sound. Like we're sound selectors as DJs, and we should have a following in some way, shape, or form. So I don't want to discount what XS is saying, but when you rely on that,
Yeah, I feel like
it's just not a good look.
You know what their next step is going to be? A DJ battle, where the winner gets a residency.
Yep.
In
That's still-
popularity
that-
contest, who cheers the most? For,
Exactly.
That still happens.
I'll bring my air horn.
At
Yeah.
this current moment, that still happens.
That does happen.
But to me, those are just like the stereotypical telltale. Like we've seen it's all been done and done again. And
But do you think there's going to be like health clubs? Like, because let's face
yeah.
it, we've been serving poison to ourselves at nightclubs for 20, 30 years, and we grew up on that, and we got used to intoxication culture as the norm. And now that health is in the forefront with the 18 to 25-year-olds who are ironically stabbing themselves with Ozempic and fillers and everything else, and it's like they're so like they are very vain. It's a very vain generation, this little pocket. And how is that going to influence nightlife? Because they're still going to want to go out and do things. But if health and appearance are at the forefront instead of intoxication, is someone going to get on this train of like, hey, I can open up a venue? Because like run clubs are popping off.
Yeah,
That's a
like
communal
those.
event.
That's great. I
But
love it.
I wonder if
like
it's going to
that
keep spinning back into our clubs or nightclubs going to survive as they are, or is it going to is it going to shift into something?
Well, there's a beach club in Vegas. I don't know the name, but they're doing these day wellness parties. Like a full pool party.
It's like
DJ.
a spa day.
Yeah,
And there's
music.
cold
they've got like
plunge.
yoga and stuff, and and IVs and all the things. It looks really cool, but I like that.
So is this something that you could see yourself incorporating into curriculum, being aware of opportunities as a DJ that aren't the norm?
Yeah, like or even starting your own parties.
Creating your own parties, because that is a huge trend as well. I mean, the was it the R&B and Ribs? I mean, he kind of created a template, whether he realized it or not. I mean, it's such a powerful venue, and there's so many copycats of that. That proved that you're valid. If everyone else was copying you, you just got a massive stamp of validation. And that's happening in other ways as well. But with, somebody that's 14 years old that maybe is getting a sense of business, they're starting to understand how money works. And it's if you can plant that seed, you're creating superhumans when it comes to DJ/business people.
Yeah. Well, a lot of the campers don't move on to just be DJs or producers. Some of them go into event production, artist management.
That's awesome.
So, we open them up to all of it, and they might think they want a DJ and end up managing a DJ or going on tour or something like that.
Because there's roles, and that's one of the things that I learned is you might have an interest in DJing, you might have an interest in music, but maybe that's not your ultimate goal.
Right.
And I know a lot of DJs that have evolved into that. Maybe they only DJed for 5 to 10 years, and they realize that wasn't their shining star moment. They're actually better with the gift of gab, getting in with understanding the politics of how festivals work, and getting that concept. So if you can give them those understandings of what's possible, the opportunities, that's a gem. That's a massive gem.
I wish I had that when I was younger too, because
I'm so jealous.
the
You don't know what you
opportunity,
don't know.
music production, I just thought like, oh, let's just mix songs and play in front of people. But I wish I had that opportunity to learn production, because later on in life, I'm like, oh, this is great. You know what I mean? Like, you're excited about something, and I love that, to plant seeds that, these kids don't even know that they like unless they're introduced to it. Because, sometimes you're in a bubble and all you know is this, or whoever you're around, all you know is this. And then you meet other people who are on another end or another journey, and you're like, wow, I never thought I could do that. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like,
you literally are getting your eyes open to potential
absolutely.
opportunities. It's like a menu.
Like,
You're getting
that's
handed a
possible?
menu.
Oh, wow, I only thought,
Yeah,
Man,
because
thought
I
only
knew I
this and
wanted
that
a
was-
cheeseburger. But hey,
Absolutely.
we got fettuccine Alfredo too.
You could add egg on there?
Well, they're also super inspired by their counselors, right? Like, I'm sure a lot of your campers still follow you on Instagram, and they see what their counselors are doing. Like, whoa, they're DJing this party here, they're doing that. And so they keep in touch with all the staff, and they see what they do. So our staff are their mentors. They're a huge element in exposing them to things and keeping in touch with them after camp.
Oh, I mean, if you think about, you're literally installing their first network in front of them in real time. Those first 50 kids are their network.
They don't know it
Because
yet.
think about it.
Yeah.
That one kid might end up being a superstar, and then they were friends
Yeah.
with this other kid that taught him something. Hey, I want you to come on tour with me.
Yep.
That can happen.
Well, like summer camps for Jewish communities are huge. They will send kids to camp all for 3 months, the whole summer.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's like part of just that. Anyone who's Jewish knows that that's what you do. You go to camp all summer long for months.
Wow.
And I think that really helps a lot with like networking and building that
Huge.
foundation.
Yeah. Because as you evolve and grow, go through college, get into business, you keep those friends with you. I mean, that's just one of those greatest parts of business. And that really comes back to the networking and understanding politics. And I'll admit, that's something that I was not good at. I'm a small town kid. I didn't understand the implications of the political leverage, knowing the right people. It's like, it's not what you know, it's who you know. That philosophy was lost on me until my late 20s, I would say. And that's such a valuable skill. And it's not so much about, it sounds like there's a lot of cynical perspective on that. Some people that don't agree with the way that's how it works, but that's how our politics work in general. That's how the music business works. That's how movies work. Everything's about being able to not only provide, but also, give back. And, the back scratch factor of, hey, I got to provide value when I'm asking for something in return. And, there's obviously the right and wrong way to do that. Obviously, we deal with those things as well. But if you can give that culture of understanding how you fit in the machine, you can be I guess a wheel in the machine, or like a cog in the wheel, or whatever you want to call it.
Like
you get my analogy.
Yeah.
a gear in a clock. I don't know. Something like that. But if you can fit into that machine correctly, and everything works well, that's a really great way to do business. And yeah, that's not an obvious skill set. And I wish I was taught that early on.
Yeah.
So do you get like, the common phrase of gatekeeping? Do you deal with any of that, like where kids get frustrated or like they want all the information, you feel like you're holding something back because like that you got to teach things in a certain way, or they get frustrated where they want to skip over things like I don't care about that, I want to do this. Do you get kids that want to jump the gun on certain things? You got to make sure they stay in line to, hey, you got to learn this before you can learn that.
I wish I had like Hoppa or Seraphin here because they're like actually the instructors.
Oh, fair
and
enough, yeah.
I've never had a kid come to me and complain about anything like that at camp. But they would know kind of those. Yeah,
because there's got to be like, like they feel like they're a know-it-all. And they like, oh, I already did this, I want to get into this instead.
I've definitely, we've had those campers. And like, Carla, you would know, we've had those campers. But I feel like once they get into their classes, they have so much to work on.
They'll listen and they'll learn. Yeah. I mean, you're learning from some of the greats in the industry. They don't even know. Like, again.
And that's the thing. You're oblivious to it. Like, I got Mixmaster Mike in front
of me. Absolutely.
Hey, what's up, Mike? Like, you don't know.
He's a legend. Once they learn about his history. Like, oh, who's this guy? He's scratching.
We should make them watch videos.
And they get their time to shine, right? So like if you are great, like everyone will, do their performance and you're going to be working on that so you can do it and kill it. And so
I've known Seraphin forever, and he's like Ableton whiz. Mm-hmm. He was actually one of the first people that told me about Ableton. He's like, yo man, you got to get on Ableton. Why are you still on Pro Tools? I'm like, nah, it's going to be a fad. And sure enough, it's like the go-to standard. Ableton is like the one.
Seraphin's actually has been the instructor at camp since the very first year. Yeah. That's cool.
That's awesome. Mm-hmm. Because I remember him talking about it in Miami one year. And I'm like, that sounds really cool. I'm like, a camp for DJs? That's awesome. But it was so far. I was in Florida, so it was like so far. It would seem like a distant land to be out in Cali.
Yeah.
But I just thought it was such a cool concept. And I had no idea that you were the founder of it. So that's a really amazing thing. And actually, I was kind of curious too, because since we got all ladies at the table here, I was kind of curious about the ratio of guys versus girls enrolling. Because are you seeing more interest from girls that want to be DJs?
Over the years, we've definitely had more and more interest organically from girls. I will say in years past, I went out of my way to reach out to girls' organizations to pull girls on scholarships in order to balance it out. Mm-hmm. But now it's happening more organically, which is great.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Because like everybody loves music. And I just think that it was strange because like for the longest time it was, you look at the history of DJing and even like rock bands, it's disproportionately male driven. And then you obviously have to deal with that counterbalance so much. And it's just amazing because like obviously all of you have had very long successful careers and you all have your own styles and tastes. And it's so cool. Is there anything that you would tell a girl that's like 12 or 13 that wants to be a DJ? What would be something that you would tell them that you've learned as a DJ?
For me, I'm like, don't box yourself into one thing. They look at us because it is male dominated, as in like, oh, you're pretty behind the decks, but I don't think that you could rock a main nightclub or a room. Okay, let's put you in the restaurants. Let's put you in the lounge because that's safe enough and that's small enough. But don't box yourself in. It's not about gender. Like if you have the same skill as this guy or that guy and you could do it better, do it.
And stand up for yourself.
And just don't lead by your looks, like lead by your skill. Because I've had throughout my years, I would be in rooms where, I don't know if you remember Opium Room at Tao, and like the booth was in the corner or it's just hidden before somebody goes in that, but they could hear the music before they come in. And I've had people come up like, oh, you're a girl? I'm like,
I'm a DJ. I'm just a DJ.
Like, so it's it's like they already in their mind is like there's a man DJing until they see the DJ
kind of
booth
like
and they're like,
compliment.
oh, yeah. And it's like, don't box yourself in. Like, don't just be.
But it's nice that you got a compliment, but
there's
this
thank
weird
you.
perception,
Okay,
a preconceived notion.
Should have been a dude.
So Jenna, what would you say to a 12 or 13-year-old prospective DJ that's at camp?
Again, don't worry about the gender. Just be confident within yourself and handle it. Like you can do it. That's it. Period.
Absolutely.
That's great. Yeah. What do you think?
just go kill it every time you get an opportunity. Just kill it.
Consistency is key.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be some sort of chauvinist undertone.
Of course.
Always.
I'm like, still to
Still
this
now.
day.
Yeah. And I can't.
We're
I'm
all
sure
like, yep.
there's got to be a million stories.
We all just got triggered.
Yeah. No, trust me. I empathize because it's
Currently right now.
yeah. And I know all of you have had a lot of positive things happen in your career, but there's obviously some negative things that have happened, and you have to navigate them in such a professional but like also teeth gritting kind of way. Because you have to be the bigger person in a shitty situation.
Yep.
Because otherwise it just even knocks you down even further with that person that might be giving you some bad undertones as far as gig opportunities, thresholds. And here, like, we're dealing with West Coast show business because, like, we've obviously got Hollywood right down the road. And some of those attitudes convey into music direction, opportunity situations that might happen. And, those, the more prepared a young person that's innocent can be, the better off they're going to be. And I know it's hard to like install that into some curriculum, but I think just being a positive influence as a counselor,
planting a seed and being like, hey, if you ever need me, like reach
empowerment.
out. Yeah.
I would share, like, if I could pull, we actually had DJ Charisma from Los Angeles come to camp. And so we had all the girls get together and just get in a big circle out in the field and have just kind of girl talk, right? Because there are different things that we can talk to the girls about that they might not, we wouldn't want to see them do in their careers. Like, I would share a story candidly with them about auditioning for CeeLo Green, who I was super excited to go on tour with. And I got to open for him, and afterwards, his manager's like, "Hey, so CeeLo needs you to go up to his room and show him some female attention. And if you want to continue to get this opportunity, and you want to go on tour, you're going to need to go up to his room and show him, a little female attention." And I'm just like, it wasn't processing. It was kind of like shocking, and then. Ultimately, I was like, well, it looks like I won't be touring with CeeLo Green.
Yeah.
And I think that those stories are good to share because it's probably something they aren't thinking about, and I would want them to make the right decision. You don't need that. You know what I mean? And I don't want it to throw them so off guard or them to just not know what's going on. And like, yes, they're uncomfortable topics, but they're real. And if you're going to get into this industry,
absolutely,
you might come across that.
And this is these stories are really frustrating to hear because it really removes the skill and the reputation from the situation. It just turns into this baseline, like slimy situation. And think about how much this happens.
All the time.
I would say it's all the time.
All the time. It's Las Vegas, LA, Miami, like all these situations, like they're epicenters of entertainment. But there's like these back end deals that are made, and it's never about merit. And it's so hard to watch. And I think, there is I have to say, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball in front of me, but I would think that females have to deal with this probably a little bit more disproportionately because there are a lot of gatekeepers out there, and these deals are made, whether or they're maybe not made in your case. So so then all of a sudden there's like a stone wall that just gets put up there, but then you just bounce off of it and find something else, and you keep your integrity. And then obviously there's probably a million other things that are going to be way better off for your situation in the long term. And that speaks for all of your longevity is making great choices and just doing great things with your career and just being durable, because you have to be durable.
I always believe like things happen for a reason, right? I've gotten or I haven't gotten gigs, and I'm just like, dang, and this other girl would, and I'm like, my younger self obviously is like mad, like, ugh, why she get it? Like, what the heck? She's not even that great, but I get it. She probably has a look that I don't have. But then, then what? Like, it's just like 5 minutes of fame and like done. You know what I mean? Like,
it's transactional in the worst way.
It's transactional in a certain way, and I think we've made the right choices and the way I'm like, okay, well, that's not meant for me. Something better is meant for me over here, but I don't know that. Mm-hmm. But this is not in my cards, even though I wanted it so bad that like whatever you believe in, universe, like, like that energy wasn't for you, and this has happened even though you might get mad at it, but hey, this is over here, you don't even know. Might be
but let's
way
also,
better.
The way Vegas works is sometimes that person that was a gatekeeper for a while leaves. And
True.
then a circumstance where you're appreciated for who you are and you were actually requested to be there.
Right.
And then you have the right
Yes.
environment for that glory, as opposed to doing it for the wrong reasons. You got there for the
Yes.
right reasons. So sometimes it's timing. It's not
Timing is everything.
venues
Yeah,
are always-
absolutely.
venues are controlled by different people.
But also, I think approaching gigs in an abundance mindset and not in a scarcity mindset is really important.
Yes.
Because if you're always thinking in abundance, then those things won't be the end of the world. You'll be
Yeah.
like, oh, I didn't get it. You know what? There's a
It's
million
okay.
other things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's enough work for everyone, and people might disagree with that when we talk
the power
about
of no.
That
The
I
power of
believe that.
no.
Yeah,
It's-
and I
it's so
think building
important.
that resilience for the kids to know that, like, just because you got to know doesn't mean that you're a bad DJ or it's not for you. You know what I mean?
But also
Like,
saying no.
yeah,
You're
saying no.
allowed to say no to things.
Yeah.
Because having that awareness of your brand, and that's a hard concept to grasp. I'm sure at first for certain kids, is you have a brand that you want to build, and it's going to evolve, and you can't just take everything. Maybe at first when you're hungry and you're willing to take everything, that's fine when you're 18, 19 years old.
Right.
But as you become, I guess, a professional, quote unquote, that means you're making most of your money from the DJ world. You have to not take everything because it could end up screwing up your career if you took the wrong gig, you bomb,
Yeah.
or if it's just not a good branding look.
I would say, or just a
Yeah,
bad
because
look.
for example, I don't
Yeah.
want to be known as like a country DJ. I can play some country music, but for me personally, I'm not going to crush it as a country. I don't even
Yeah.
listen to country, so I
Absolutely.
don't want to ever get booked, expected to crush a country set specifically. I'll incorporate some in, I'll weave it in because as DJ DeVille, I'm a mashup brand. So that for me is like, okay, I got to make sure that's why I will ask bookers, like, what am I expected to be doing? And that's okay to ask. It's like a job interview. A gig inquiry is a job interview. So that's such a great skill set to learn as a young kid, is because, I want to get all these gigs, but not every gig's for you. And that's okay too. So that abundance thing is a great thing to convey. And so I guess one of the most important things I want to focus on is, I think there's a lot of DJs and just people in general that would love to know how to support Camp Spinoff. So I want you to talk about how to access it and how can people support.
Yeah, well, thanks for asking. You can go to campspinoff.com. There is a section there where you can donate. We have a thing called the Play It Forward Club, which everybody here is a part of.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's basically a $100 donation. You upload your logo, and we put you on the site with all the other DJs as part of the Play It Forward Club to show that you're donating towards scholarships and supporting Camp Spinoff. My goal is just to have as many DJs there as possible to be together. We have it all goes.
Tell me or tell the audience what you told me about what the actual goal is, because our goal here is essentially make sure these kids can essentially access it for low cost or if not free, right?
Oh yeah, all the money goes towards scholarships. Our
Yeah.
goal is to just fill the camp with scholarships for kids that can't afford to go or they just don't have the access. So that's where all the donations go to.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we're on Instagram. Everything's the same. Our website, Instagram, YouTube. It's all Camp Spinoff.
And we'll make sure we put that. Producer Kellen will make sure we get that on the screen. We'll double check before we publish the episode. But I think that one of the coolest things was how much support you got from the mastermind alone, because it was like you got enough funds generated. 3 or 4 scholarships?
We raised $6,000.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, because
So-
everybody there joined the Play It Forward Club.
Yeah.
We had that many DJs.
And
Yeah.
I was running, there was definitely a strategy. I was trying to update the room, and we were calling out, like, people were donating more than $100. Casey Ray, shout out to Casey Ray. He donated
Yeah.
$1,500.
That's
so
a whole
That's a whole
tuition.
scholarship.
That's a
yeah.
whole tuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was another part of the mastermind was raising money for scholarships. So it really was such a successful event, and I can't wait to do it again.
Well, so guys, this is the future of DJing. So if you care about it, this is one of the greatest situations a young DJ can be in. So if you want to support, definitely check out Camp Spinoff. I think it's one of the greatest inventions. Like it's just
Thanks, Tina T.
Yeah, thank you so much,
Let's
Tina.
go.
We really I want to cheers to that. because this is the future. We're passing the torch.
Salute.
So,
Got you.
yeah, it's like I want to thank you for doing so much positivity for the culture, and so much education I'm really optimistic about the future, because when you have this kind of structure, only good things happen. It's the education and the power that comes with that is amazing. So I'm very excited for the future, thanks to you. So I really want to thank you for all the ladies coming on today. I shout out to producer Kellen holding it down for us. So we're putting another Club Killers podcast in the books, and we'll see you next time.
The world famous Club Killers crew, you know how we do.